welcome
to another episode
of the board,
Lume.
the wet.
Now, So not only do we have a war, we're in a massive, countrywide downpour now as well. Now it's 2 weeks forecast of just pissing down rain. So everything's grand.
Everything is grand. Everything's grand. 2026 really turned out to be off to a very good start.
It was 2020 Mark II, right? Because 2020 was also shit. So
yeah.
It is giving COVID vibes, right? Like this whole thing is giving COVID vibes.
Yes, because we are also staying at home because we don't want to be hit with rockets. And actually I went out. I have to tell you the story. Well. I went out, of course, and I had a lovely dinner at Orfali's. You know, Orfali is a wonderful
restaurant.
Kebab
Orfali.
It's actually that's actually two restaurants. One is Orfali, and then another one is Three Brothers by Orfali. These are three brothers from Syria, from Aleppo, I think, and they are having. This is one of these Gomio thing and Michelin star. Homegrown restaurant, which is fantastic, but it's really, really good food. And I went to the Three Brothers this time, met a friend, and he basically told me something about watches. So he's, of course, a big watch collector himself. So he has a good friend who has a really tempting watch for me. But before we go into that,
we'll wait on that one.
Yeah, before we go into that,
because there's a topic we want to talk about before we talk about your watch, right? We're going to talk about something else. Your conundrum will come later. But I did used to go to this Lebanese/Syrian restaurant, and they had what was called a kebab orfali, which apparently is a kebab that is in like a tomato pasty base and is super spicy. It was very nice. I loved it.
Yeah, the food was excellent, and I think we paid for 4 people. I think we paid about 300 per person. But of course, there's no drinks. It's not a licensed restaurant. So, but it was heavenly. I mean, really, it was divine. The first we had lots of different courses, right? And it was amazing. I mean, I've been in it's the main one before, but has gotten a bit more expensive. They have this 14-course tasting menu only for 850, I think, dirhams per person. It's really good. There's all the stars.
Listen, hey, I'm on a diet right now. I couldn't even eat 14
No,
course.
It's small.
Yeah, I'm
things.
sure they're
Sometimes
small, but I would fill up
things. Yeah.
Ever since I've been dieting, it's been like I eat just a little bit. I'm already full. So
Little bit. So what are you wearing?
I am wearing my Pelagos still. Now, this is my rainy day watch. I put it on my Bond style NATO strap. And this is a really nice NATO strap. It's from Hodinkee before they went under. And the reason it's very nice, if you look at the lug width here.
Yeah.
It's a 20 millimeter strap. Mm-hmm. But this watch is a 21 millimeter lugs. So this one is just a little bit too big for a 20 millimeter watch, and it's perfect for a 21 millimeter. So you cannot see the spring bars, which it suits my OCD very well. So I like it.
I think having a too small strap on the watch is always looking terribly cheap. It just doesn't look nice.
Which I was very, very, I was between the two. I wore this last winter break on a gray NATO that was a 20 millimeter, and I could see the spring bars. It bothered me a little bit, but not too bad. But now this is the strap that works. And I put it on it because I was going cycling on Saturday when the rain started. And I was like, okay, I can't take the Speedy, which my Speedy is my usual cycling watch because it lives on a NATO strap. So I put it on this to go out. And then we got an absolute drenching, including 40 kilometer an hour wind gusts. We got hail. We got everything. And I was getting pelted with hail. So Tudor Pelagos lives through everything.
You got your
helmet on.
Not Everton. You got your scrubbing, so that's good.
No, it was. I came back and my Oakleys, which are they call them photochromic, which they switch between fully transparent and dark, depending on the UV. The hail hit my glasses so hard that the lining, the tape or whatever it is, was peeling off when I was done. So now I got like a bunch of scratches in my glasses from this.
It's a coating. Yeah.
The coating is gone.
It's a coating.
So,
same as this anti-reflective coating we have on watches, right?
Therefore, I ruined a pair of Oakleys, but my Pelagos lived.
This is when you have sometimes watches like Breitling and IWC, they do that a lot. They put anti-reflective coating on the inside, multiple layers, but also on the top, on the outside. Problem with that is you have a sapphire crystal, which is highly scratch resistant, but these coatings are not as scratch resistant. So over time, especially when you have IWCs with a slightly domed sapphire crystal, there can be some scratches in the center, especially where you wear off the anti-reflective coating, and most likely you don't see it, but on some angles and with some light shining in, you see actually scratches on your sapphire crystal without knowing that it's actually not a really a deep scratch in it, right? So
meanwhile, you scratched this sapphire crystal, and I thought, is there any reflecting?
Punctured.
Yeah, but there's no anti-reflective coating on the outside of this. So
no.
This is crystal.
Rolex does, if at all, only in the inside.
Inside, yeah, which is the correct way of doing it. If you're a watchmaker here, listen up. So what are you wearing?
I'm wearing my new G-Shock metal square, the GMWB Z5001 DR.
Is it Z or is it X?
Z. The X is for the GW. There's a DX. And for the GMW, it's a BZ.
Okay. All right. If you say so.
No, I know so.
I trust that you know. Exactly. I don't know. So, but, so you got the watch that you were enamored with now.
I threatened that if they ever bring out a metal G-Shock with an MIP display, I will buy it. So I stood by my word. I threatened the world that I'm going to buy this watch, and
as long as they make it.
Now, once they make it, I will buy one. I'm still not entirely happy that it's a negative display, right?
Mm-hmm. The contrast is great. Like, we can't complain about the contrast.
But you can, it's really an absolute change from negative displays because you can see it super clearly.
Now, I pointed out something to you, which I didn't notice before in the press images, but I only noticed when you sent me a picture, is the 4 screw heads. They're not really screw heads. They're like divots.
Yeah.
Are black.
Yes.
And on my version, they're silver.
Correct. They're just holes. I mean,
yeah.
But here they are actually somehow
blackened. Yeah. So I'm guessing because of the negative display, right?
You see this two-tone case, right? There's half the case is black, and it looks a bit
I don't know how I feel about this.
Me neither. The good thing is that when you wear it, it's a bit like the rivets in a Tudor Black Bay. You don't see it, right? When you wear it, you don't really see it, but because it's on your wrist, you really don't see any of that, right? When it's on your wrist, but when I have it in my hand, I think, that's a bit of an odd one. And apparently they have used AI to help them design this fantastic design. Well, there you go. So it's a bit of an AI slop design.
But the rest of it, because remember, the whole bracelet has these divots, circles, whatever, all the way down. And all of the other ones are silver, except for the top 2, which are black.
Yeah.
It's
a new design. I must say, I didn't actually see it until you told me, because in certain light, it actually doesn't look that dark. Now it does here, because I'm showing it to you in a pretty dark room, because outside is super gray, so dark that I need light here inside. But I haven't switched it on yet. So my point is, there's a couple of things. I mean, everything is great of this watch. A couple of things they have changed. Only 2 world times. So you can show them all 3 time zones on one display if you want. So that's pretty cool if you can set it to different variations of how the screen is
Laid
showing
out
information.
Yeah.
And then you can, so that's that. You have, of course, your chronograph, which does not show the running hundredth of a second because the refresh rate is not fast enough of this display. So it shows it, of course, the moment you stop, it shows the hundredth of a second exactly, but not while it's running. Other than that, nothing else. No cons. Otherwise, these are all the cons. The rest is all pros.
So the negative display, the two-tone case, or as in the double 2-piece case, we should say half black, half silver.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it, right?
And the chronograph,
and the chronograph not showing
rate,
the tenth of a second.
This is all I have to say that's negative about it. And it wears exactly the same as the other one. I mean, it's just like the same, super, super comfortable.
Which begs the question, you freaking redesigned the entire case, but you didn't do anything with the articulation of the end links. Which they fixed on the carbon one. On the carbon one, they fixed this. Yeah, exactly. So it's still poking out like on my original one, but the carbon one, they fixed this and it goes straight down. So apparently they fixed it and then they just ignored it. Everything we learned, we throw away and we go from there.
And I know, but AI, the other thing is that maybe another negative is the backlight is sufficient if you actually need backlight, right? The old one was very bright. I mean, I still have my TVA.
I love it.
And
the old one was cool.
Bright. But the new one is not as, I think it's just not getting that much light through the display itself. So, but it's okay. You can, if you need backlight, this backlight works. So you can then see it if it's really dark.
Does it fade in and out?
It does, I think. Let me see.
So this was a test that Jeremy Clarkson used to do with cars. And he said every car was essentially a piece of shit unless when you open the door and close the door, the dome light faded out. Because you had cheap cars that would just like turn off.
I know the first one who had this was like, wow.
Yeah.
It fades in, fades out. I remember that when the first car that had fading light came in and out. Or the first self-closing doors, right?
Oh, I never had that. It's too fancy for me. But the fading lights, even the Pajero's got a fading light, and I'm pretty pleased with that. Then again, I don't know what the Focus has. I have no idea. I forgot it because that has LEDs. So
yeah, who knows? But the thing is, now it's not special anymore. But here, yes, the light fades in and out. So that's good.
Because I thought when I got my first Metal G-Shock, when I saw the backlight fade out, I was like, that is so cool. And I don't know why I thought it was cool, but
they're still selling these cheap ones with a little light bulb in it, right?
Yeah, of course.
Not just
the reason
LED,
is,
but a real bulb.
So if you have a battery in it, then you have the proper backlight. If it's solar, the solar can't support the backlight, the full backlight, whatever they call it, like Indiglo, like for Timex. So what do they call it? Illuminator is what they called it, the Casio version. It cannot support it. So then they have to have just a little baby LED sitting on the side of the case. And then that's all the light you get. And it's actually really,
but this one is also solar and has a full backlight, right?
Different. The metal ones were different, right? But for the regular rubber ones, like the cheap ones, that was always the difference. The base model, the DW5600, the cheapest one, had the full glowing backlight. And then if you went up one notch to the fancier version with the what is it called? The solar and then the whatever atomic setting, then that one did not have this, and that had the little baby LED.
Yeah. What to do? But the good thing is that even if you have this light bulb, if the battery goes weaker, you still have light, but just weaker light.
Yes.
LED is just on or off, right? Usually. Old things. Yeah. So What's the topic today?
Two topics. One is going to be your conundrum, which we'll leave to the end, I think.
Okay.
But first, Ralph, you wanted to talk about crowns.
Yes, I've read about this on Monochrome. Yeah, I think in Monochrome they had a good article about it recently. It was released 3 days ago. Yeah, and it was about watch crowns. You know, the small but crucial interaction with your watch. And then they explained a lot of the history. And it is a really good article. It's an 11-minute read, according to them, where you can learn everything about the history. You know, back in our movements, we still have this area that is connected to the winding mechanism and all of the stuff is now called keyless works, right, in English, because you actually had a key before where you actually wound the watch with. Back in the day, your pocket watch had a key that you needed.
Or
to
if you have the Richard Mille Ferrari watch, you still have a key.
Yes, some very slim watches have this still because they don't have a crown, because otherwise they couldn't be 2 millimeters thin or something. Yeah, but this whole history of how the crowns came to be, the water resistance rating, if you have a screw down crown or just a normal pull out crown, if the different trip lock, twin lock, single lock system that Rolex started with the Oyster case and all of this stuff, how they actually didn't invent the screw down crown and the screw down crown and for a commercial watch. It was done by Georges Perret and Paul Perregaux, two names that are still around today, right? And they have created these watches, or this screw down crown. And the rights for this were bought by Rolex, and Rolex patented it. So they were the first to have the patent, and they bought it fair and square, and then secured legal protection for it, which is very interesting. And it was exactly in 2026 when they filed the patent, and it was granted in the summer of 2027. So exactly 100 years from today, basically.
You mean in 1926 and 1927?
Sorry, did I say yes?
Yeah.
What did I say?
2026 and 2027.
Yeah, no.
100 years ago,
of course.
Exactly when Tudor was founded, 1926, which also both of us learned the same exact fun fact, is that Tudor was founded in 1926, but they didn't make a watch for like 20 years.
Yeah.
So, which is very strange.
Yeah, very strange. So that's also something. He just filed the trademark for this brand, right? Hans Wilsdorf. But we will see something really cool. I think this year we will see, apparently, according to Adrian Barker, which I didn't know before, Rolex and Tudor have like a ping pong, right? If Rolex has a lot of new stuff coming out, then Tudor doesn't. And if Tudor does, then Rolex is a bit muted. So in order to just don't take the limelight from each other, which, well, makes sense if you're part of the same foundation. But
I don't know how correct or accurate this is, but
me neither. I didn't go back in time and checked it, but he said it. So
he said it, so it must be true.
Must be true. It could not possibly be untrue. Anyhow, so the different crowns, and they explained a lot about the history and all of these things. But I wanted to come from a different angle. I wanted to talk more about this whole interaction that you have with the crown, because it's the only place you actually, in a normal watch that doesn't only have a crown, it's the only way to feel the watch mechanisms inside, right? The only way of interacting with your watch is through the crown. So you have the feeling for the solidity, for the winding feel, for how you set your hands, and everything can give you a bit of a feeling of this feels good, this feels luxurious, or this feels cheap,
feels
and
like
this
garbage.
feels crappy, right? Yeah. Sometimes when you wind, for example, some of the Miyota movements, they sound like a small lawnmower or something when you wind them, right? It's not nice. And then you have some that make this nice, satisfying.
I agree.
When you wind them. So there's a couple of things where you really feel the difference in winding and how it makes you feel, right? If it feels
so, some of them make you feel
solid.
Exactly. Some make you feel at ease. Others make you want to shit your pants a little bit. My grandfather's, you wind it and then you hear like a tick and you're like, oh my goodness, like it snapped something.
Yeah.
And it's just very, very not pleasant. despite that it was just serviced. Shout out Timepiece 360.
But you know when you had these Panerais or so, right? These hand-wound Panerais that always are based on the Unitas 64, 98, 96, 97. These variants, they are also 18,000 beats per second, and they have a big, strong mainspring. And if you wind them, that's really like a tractor, like tuck, 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 tuck. It's fun, but also how you interact with the crown and how it's shaped, because the crown shape also makes a bit of a difference. The stem and how it's really in the tube. Does it have too much play? For example, the Baltic I once had. If you unscrew the crown, and it's just totally wobbly, and the stem is thin, and you feel like, oh my god, this just feels too fragile. Yeah, it's just not very promising. It makes you feel like every time you open the crown, you feel like, ooh, I hope I don't break anything, right? And then you have like the Rolexes and other stuff, which everything feels pretty rock solid. Or on my Blancpains, everything feels good, solid, nothing wobbles. There's no give, there's no play. That's how it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
And especially on my G-Shock, the crown is perfect.
The winds very well. But also, let's talk about the sizes of the crowns as well. So, for instance, I do feel the size of the crown on my Black Bay 54 is too small. So you can't really get a good purchase on it. On the other hand, Hamilton Khaki has a gigantic crown, and it's so pleasant and so easy to wind it. The Grand Seikos, the manual wind Grand Seikos, have fantastically big onion crowns that you can wind, and it's a pleasure to wind.
An onion crown?
Just because, the big onion crowns, like the bulbous ones, like this.
Bulbous.
So it's not a.
Usually, onion is like triangular shape. No, that's what's called an onion crown.
No, onion crowns are spherical.
They can be round. Yes, they can be round.
Yes.
Just look at it.
So, for instance, the big Pilot has, some would say, an onion crown.
Yeah.
But if you look at, did you Google what is an onion crown?
Yes, I did. I show you.
It gives you a very easy picture to understand. So it's more of a sphere than a.
Can you see?
What's the opposite of a sphere? A cone, not a cone. Sorry, a cylinder.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I just remember. Do you remember you're saying this? The size. First of all, let's talk about the size. I think the size is very important, especially when you have a movement that's harder to wind, or maybe you have lots of O-rings, right, in the watch for water protection because it's not a screw-down crown. Then, of course, winding is harder the smaller the crown is.
Yeah.
Right. My Blancpain, for example, which is thankfully an automatic, so you don't need to wind it that much, has a too small crown. So that means your fingers hurt when you wind it for like 50 turns or so. It's not too pleasant, right? On the other hand, I have some watches where you think the crown is too big, right? When you feel like this is a bit too much, right? Some of the Zenith, for example, okay, that's not a watch I have, but some of the Zenith Pilot watches have a crown. I mean, if you look at this one here, that is just terribly humongous, right?
Yeah. This is that kind of Type 20 Pilot reissue style. I do have to say I've had this on the. This wasn't necessarily just the crown. This was both the crown and the pushers. I had the Longines Avigation Big Eye.
Right.
And if you Google that, the pushers are absolutely monstrously oversized, as well as the crown. And it just looked clownishly big for some reason.
Right. Yes. Like some of the Grand Seiko.
It's a 41 millimeter watch. So it's not a small watch. So if you look at the size of the crowns in comparison, look at the picture to the left of that. Left. No, the to the right, that one. Yeah. That'll show you. Look at the size of those. It's a 41 millimeter, 42 millimeter case. How big are those pushers?
Yeah, and this is sometimes when you think, okay, if the optics are definitely taking a backseat here and the usability is in the front, right? But then the question is, for a watch that actually Nobody really uses the chronograph that much. The optics are important. Didn't Grand Seiko also have in their first chronographs this humongously big pushers?
I don't know.
I think so. Grand Seiko had
In
this
the Grand Seiko chronograph was the Tentalum or whatever, 10, 10, 10, 10, something.
No, I think before that they had these ones, where you had this.
Oh my God, that's hideous.
Yeah, and you have the pushers are way bigger than the crown, right? And they push out so far, and then you have to still unscrew them. It's just a bit of a. I really like this watch, for example. It's a chronograph GMT spring drive watch, and I thought, genius. It has everything I want in a watch, right? And I just couldn't get over the look. I couldn't get over the look because I think like this is just not, that's rubbish. So it's like these are just too big. I can't live with that because it feels clownish a bit, yeah.
But once again, and the other thing is it's not related to price. I do have to say, I had the Hamilton Khaki mechanical a bunch of times, to the point where I ordered another one, by the way.
That's new.
It's coming from Joma Shop. Yeah, I ordered it.
Oh,
it was
I hope it comes.
It's arrived to shop and ship, I think, and then it will come when it comes. But the point is, it was such a pleasant, winding experience, and I paid $470 with tax. And at that price, I can't imagine how nice that movement is, because I have more expensive watches that are way worse to interact with, to wind, to set.
And it's sometimes it's also how precise can you set the time, because sometimes you feel the gearing inside is so
loose.
Yeah, it's either too loose or too
precise.
Yeah, or imprecise, or sometimes it's you have to wind. You have a lot of give, so you can not a lot of give, a lot of inefficient. Let's say it this way, so that you have a lot of space. You have to wind more in order to put it in the right position, which is a good thing if you want to have it set precisely, right?
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it takes a long time if you have to just, move the time forward 12 hours or whatever, or 24 hours, then that's a bit annoying. So I'm always split between this. Do I want fast, moving the time forward and backwards, or a more precise setting? And that's obviously...
I want both.
Yes, but if you design these movements and the crown, then there are so many considerations to make of how you want it to be, right? Because the size of the crown affects it, and of course the internal gearing affects it. So it's a lot of things you need to take into consideration.
The only watch I had an issue with crown wise was my Oris. I had the Oris Caliber 400, and the Caliber 400s were apparently had to be fixed because they had an issue with precisely this. You couldn't set it precisely. Every time you pushed in the crown, it would jump like 5 minutes ahead.
Right.
And what you had to do, you had to play with it. You had to essentially wind it forward, then wind it backwards, release the tension on the hand, and then push it in, and then it would work. But then according to some people, they have fixed this issue now, so who knows?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about one of the crowns that is in my Colloquium watch. I'm not so sure if that's easy to show.
Oh yes, that weird.
Because that has it has a triangular shaped crown, which is here you can see this. I think in this photo, if I find a photo of the crown here, hopefully.
I see. I know what you're talking about.
I'm just trying to show it, but forget it. Yeah, it is a triangle, and it's actually, if you want to wind it with this, it's not pleasant. So it's definitely designed before usability.
On top of that, going straight into this, the Cartier, the Santos, with its octagonal or hexagonal crown, was an absolute pain in the ass. You could not get a grip on it. You just keep slipping off of it.
Correct. It's same with the Cartier Ballon Bleu that my wife has, because it has this fixed crown guard basically around it, right? You remember what it is?
Yeah, I know exactly which one it is. Yeah.
Ballon.
at 3:00, and the whole movement kind of goes in and out. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. And it's not movement. It's just the crown goes in and out, but it's like the crown guard is it's inside here.
Yeah,
right?
it's like a fixed. The crown guard is a part of the case. It's super weird.
Correct. And so when you want to wind it, your fingers only touch a tiny bit of the crown on the top and on the bottom of the case. So it's terribly annoying because it's always shaping on the case your fingers when you're trying to wind it up. Thankfully, it's an automatic, so you don't have to wind it too much, but it's still annoying, right?
It is. And remember, you have to wind everything to get going, right? So you still, even if you have an automatic,
Yes.
you have to wind it to set it, essentially, because it has to get going. So that's another downside with these weird crowns. Going back to the Oris, the other thing on the Oris was it had the 5-day power reserve.
Yes.
And you had to do like a solid 30 turns just to even get the hands moving, which it's an automatic movement. Like that pissed me off because I felt like every time I'm setting a watch, I'm in a hurry and I'm sitting there winding it just to get it to go. And then I have to do the trick because every time what happens is I try to set exactly to the minute.
Yes.
So, or to the second or whatever. And so I'm putting it in, I'm waiting for the next minute to roll around. I forget about the trick of releasing the pressure. I push it in, it jumps ahead. Now I'm screwed. I got to wait another minute. Right. And of course, this minute doesn't seem like a lot of time, but when I'm 10 minutes late to something, it feels like it is.
Yeah. You just don't want to do that in a hurry. Yeah. And I think this is true. There's so many of these aspects of how much knurling you have on this crown or what are the
excellent point. Let me talk about knurling. Go back to look at the old Tudors, the original Pelagos, the original Black Bays were the worst crowns I'd ever interacted with. They were essentially like these little coin-edged crowns. And I ended up selling my Black Bay 54. One of the reasons was that the crown was not sharp. So if you look at the old, do you see the knurling on that? Yeah. And compare that to the new Pelagos, the Ultra or the 39 or any of those.
Yes, so much rougher, easier to grip. Yeah.
But the Black Bay 58 is one of the worst ones of this. You simply cannot wind it. It's so slippery.
58 or 54?
58. The 54 already has the teeth, but the 58 never did. Same with the Ranger that you have.
Yeah.
It's just like this coin edge bezel, and it ends up not being a very pleasant interaction.
I think it's okay with the Ranger. I think because it's a bit bigger, maybe.
Maybe the size is different, but I sold one of the reasons I should say I sold my Black Bay 58 was that. And when the 54 came out with a new redesigned crown, that was a huge selling point for me.
Yeah. So here mine, yeah. No, it's yeah. It's okay.
Compare your Ranger to the Explorer's crown and just feel how much nicer it is to grip the Explorer's crown. The Ranger has this weird smooth crown. Correct. And this is what I was upset by, is when they made the new Ranger, the new 36 millimeter, the new Dune White, they kept the crown the same. They kept the clasp the same as the old clasps. The new clasps are much better. The new crowns are much better. But now the new crowns in the new Tudors are effectively just Rolex crowns. They are one-to-one kind of duplicates of the Rolex crowns.
Yeah. Well, I must say, this is all affecting how you feel about a watch. And these are the things you probably don't actually, most of us, I think, don't really, how do you say that, recognize what it is that makes you feel certain ways about a watch when you interact with it. Because you don't really register it properly, because it's just you get a new watch or any watch from somebody. You give me a new watch to play around with. I take it in my hand. What do? You will figure out, unscrew the crown and just, wind it a bit just to feel how it just to see it, how it feels. And sometimes you don't even know what it is that makes you feel good or bad about a watch, but it is very often also this feel. It's the bracelet, it's the wearing feel, of course, but sometimes it's really these little things, right? The interaction. Because in the end,
also
we need to touch the crown to wind it, if it's hand wound, pretty often, to set it, to give it life so that the watch actually does something. And it's an important and the only way of interaction with the insides of the watch. And that's, I think, your only reflection, your haptic reflection of how good the quality of the insides is through the crown, right?
Now, I still rely on this to judge a fake Rolex versus a real Rolex. I still think that winding it is kind of a telltale sign if it's a real Rolex versus a fake one. It's one of those things that the Chinese can't duplicate.
Yeah.
Is smoothness. Yeah. Because they can make it look good. They can make it seem like it's, everything's perfect. But for some reason, they always cheap out on everything that you cannot see. Hence my aversion to Chinese cars. It looks good on the outside, but who knows? I've been saying this, by the way. I don't know if you've noticed this. The overtake of Chinese cars everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Even the Chinese car manufacturers don't put Chinese tires on their cars.
That's interesting.
And that to me says a lot, right? I'm sure they could put Ling Longs on their brand new Jet Tours, but I think they even think it's too big of a liability. So nonetheless, once again, the things you don't see, you don't think about. But in these Chinese clones, every one that I've wound, I've always felt it was gritty. The crown was wobbly. There was something tactical where you could discern.
100% agree. Even just unscrewing the crown and rescrewing the crown, the slide of the way of how it actually grips and how it doesn't grip, or if it's, if it's grainy or not grainy, the feeling of the winding. And I had this discussion with somebody, and I won a bet with that, because he said basically, all Rolex watches, if you set the hands, they always go into, if you wind forward or set the time forward, then they're going into the direction of the clockwise. And that's not true. No, that's not true. No. Exactly. And I wanted to bet as well, because I said, no, that's not true. It depends on which movement, because some movements do the other way around. Like I think the Sky Dweller is different from the other watches.
My Explorer is different. Yeah. My Explorer goes the other way around. My Sub went the correct way. My Explorer goes the reverse way. And my wife had the OP26, which also went the reverse way. That was the first time I ever saw this. Was when I bought that watch. And it was weird. It was super weird. But that was kind of 5 years before I bought the Explorer. And when I went to buy the Explorer, I had already seen and played with this, so I knew it happened. But otherwise, had I not done that, I think it would have freaked me out. And maybe I wouldn't have bought it, because I would have thought it was a fake or something.
Yeah, true.
So, yes. I mean, imagine that. A little crown can tell someone whether a watch is real or fake. That's a lot. And I have a friend who has a Rolex Sub that he bought from one of these, Timepiece 360 style people, but like smaller gold souk style. And he was wearing it, and I was like, okay, I really need to figure out if this is real or not. So I asked to see it, and I didn't tell him why. And I, of course, close the clasp, rotate the bezel, and wind the crown. And those three things together, like, you could really discern it if it's real or not.
If you have experience with watches. With these kind
but
of
that's
watches,
the thing is, I've worn, I daily wore a Sub for 8 years. And that means I wound it every couple of days. I interacted with it every single day. I must have opened and closed the clasp a million times. So you give me one, right? That muscle memory knows exactly what this should feel like.
Yes. So, I agree.
Yes.
I totally agree. You feel it. Sometimes you know something is off, but you don't know really what it is, but you feel like, something is off.
and in watch terms, that means you got a problem.
Yeah, most likely. The other thing I find very interesting, or wanted to talk to you about, is the Lucky Crown. right? We call it the lucky crown for Rolex. If the crown actually aligns and stands
that's
perfect.
That's stupid.
No, it sometimes happens. Right?
Sometimes it happens. My wife had one where it did happen. But the reason it's bullshit is this does not stay that way. It will change. It will change over time. If it's serviced, it will definitely not be put back the same way. But the lucky crown, for those of you who don't know, is when you wind in, screw down your crown, and it's perfectly up and down. And a lot of people care about this. And I don't, but a lot of people do care. And it's not permanent.
It's when you think it should be and it's not, right? And it's I had one Grand Seiko where it perfectly aligned, but then again, over time, when you said when the
gaskets compress,
the gaskets compress a bit and they get less spongy, then suddenly you can twist it a bit more than you did before, or if you just use too much pressure and power and torque to screw it in, then it's gone and it's not anymore
this
perfectly
is the
aligned.
Equivalent, dear sir, of you saying my tire center caps. The Porsche logo is not right side up.
Yes.
Right? You park it one day and it was right side up, and the next day you park the car, it's not right side up. How can that be?
But my point is, this is the point with the Porsche logos is for press photos, they always make sure that the logos are straight.
But how?
Yeah,
how do they
lift
do
the
this?
car. They lift the car and turn the wheel.
Oh, they lift it and individually set it down in each corner. Ridiculous.
Just because.
Be
I know. Nowadays, probably they would use Photoshop for it. But of course, then you have the Rolls-Royce logos, which are basically
floating.
They're
and
floating.
Now the Chinese cars have started copying this. There's the Guangzhong, whatever, I don't know what it is called, some SUV, and it had the floating freaking center caps. And I'm just, I'm so upset by this. Like, they can't come up with an original idea to save their lives. Every single Chinese car, it's a knockoff of something else. The Jetour T2, knockoff of a Defender, blatantly. Jetour T1, knockoff of the new FJ Cruiser, blatantly. I mean, they just what? Come on.
Well, I think it's part of the evolution, right? In the beginning, you copy successful designs or lean into this, and then eventually you have your own design language. Look at BMW nowadays. The newer BMWs all look like designed by Chinese designers.
No, I mean, I don't even know what, because the new BMWs look so bad. And everybody was like, they're going to fix it. And then every generation just gets worse. Since the old whale tail from the 6 Series,
yes,
which was what, 2004-ish, 2000-ish?
I think it came out eventually first 2004, then I got an update 2008 or so. I had the update, or 2009. I had the slightly facelifted version, which was not as bad anymore. The J-Lo bum, they called it, right?
Yeah. It was ridiculous. But my point is, ever since then, BMW has just gone downhill in design language.
I think there was a couple of good ones in between after the J-Lo butt went out, even though I had one when I had a 650i coupe and I loved this. But in the beginning, I also found it pretty ugly. But same as with the Panamera, the first time it came out, I found it just looks like a pregnant whale. And then I drove one, I liked it, right? So sometimes
after
you come
drove
around.
It looked different.
I know, it sounds weird, but after I drove it, I liked it. Because it's just, sometimes your perception changes from the feeling that you have, or the experiences you have with something, right? It's like with watches. Sometimes you think, oh, this watch is ugly. And then you actually have it on your wrist and think, no, actually it's not. Which
at the end of the day, if you're in the car, you don't have to look at the car.
That's correct.
So this is something that somebody has, I don't know what it was in, but it was which car was being reviewed. But they said the best thing about the car was sitting inside because you didn't have to look at it.
Yes. That's nasty, but good. So which brings me exactly to my conundrum that I have. I wanted to let you know about it.
Yes, let's talk about conundrums.
While I was having this lovely dinner, my friend told me he has a good friend who needs to get rid of a watch that he bought in 2021 and is not wearing because he bought it to boost his profile, right? Or 2022, I don't know, something like that. So it is basically an AP code 1159 chronograph with the white gold case and the Fume Bordeaux red dial. Looks really, really nice. I don't think I have it here, a picture of it, but anyhow, it looks really, really lovely. It's a perfect watch. And he said, look, you cannot sell this watch in the foreseeable future just for profile reasons, all of this stuff, right? And, but the thing is that he would give me the watch for a good, big chunk under the cheapest on Chrono 24. Cheapest on Chrono 24 is about 102 from Japan, 102,000. And he said 77 and a half.
No.
It has the same movement that I have. No, I like the Code 1159. I always liked it since I tried one on. And then I think, but what would I sell for it? I wouldn't sell my Royal Oak for it. I wouldn't sell my...
Why would you want 2 APs?
Because I don't want to sell my... And exactly, 2 APs, 2 chronograph APs with the same movement, right?
Exactly.
Also something
which the movement already has issues.
Yes, exactly. You think, do I really want this? But then the next thing is, I really like this watch, but I don't want to sell my AP for it. I don't want to sell my overseas for it. So that would mean then, do I want to sell my Explorer and my Submariner for it? No. Besides the Submariner cannot be sold anyways. Then some other watches, I could sell a couple of other things to just somehow get this money together, but I don't want to spend extra money on it, right? So, and I'm not so sure if do I want to sell my Laureato Gerard Perigot? And I decided, no, I don't. So it's a problem.
Make enough off the Laureato to
no, I have to
cover this.
Sell this and something else, of course, and. So it's quite a bit.
I don't like this. I don't know.
I'm maybe I can show it to you.
I know exactly which watch it is.
It's this one here, and it's really, really nice.
Is it though? I don't like it.
It is nice.
I don't like it at all. I hate the logo on it.
I really like it.
You're never going to convince me with this watch.
No, that's okay. You don't have to.
It's true.
Tastes are always different. But I found this watch really, really nice. And I think I really would like to have that, but not at which cost, right, for me. And that's why I'm still thinking I have still a few days to
I would
decide.
not want to buy this.
And it has it on a white strap and on a black strap, and it's really nice. But problem also with this one,
Moser that you sold.
Correct, better though. But what I don't like here is with this Code 1159 is that you can't really change the straps yourself. You have to use these 2 different screwdrivers from both sides. You have it's not easy to change the straps yourself. So you're very likely making a mess out of the case if you're trying to do it yourself. So you better bring it to the boutique to change. And that I don't like. This is what I like so much about the Royal Oak Offshore, that I have the quick exchange system. And
I don't think this compares to your Royal Oak. I think the Royal Oak has been...
Yeah, I mean, it's white gold, of course, and the price is extremely attractive, of course. But yeah, I guess I will pass on it. But this is my current thinking is I'll pass on it. But I do like it. I do like the Code 1159 on my wrist, especially. Once you put it on, it just feels like my first Rolex, when it just feels right on your wrist, right? Yeah, I had this a bit.
I don't know.
It probably won't end up on my wrist, at least not this time.
I have nothing positive to say about it. Let's put it that way, and leave it at that.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I don't know how far into our conversation we are. Do you have any idea? Because our lovely app doesn't tell us.
50 minutes.
Okay.
Then we should wrap up soon. Mm-hmm.
Okay, then we leave it. I was going to talk a little bit about Grail watches, but we leave that for another day. We talk about our Grail watches another day, especially that we have Watches and Wonders, or whatever it's called these days, coming up. And maybe new watches that we want are going to be released.
Oh yes, May. I'm
like a
actually,
shooter big block.
maybe. I'm very excited. I'm getting pretty excited about what's going to happen.
I'm just bored, so I'm ready.
Yes, exactly. It's like, yeah, I'm ready now. I'm ready for new stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not. Like, even if I don't buy any of the new stuff, what is the date of it, by the way?
It's in a couple
and
of
Wonders
weeks.
2026, April 14th through the 20th.
I see 3 weeks from now when we are recording this. So that's soon.
Yeah, 3 weeks. 3 weeks from now. So that's gonna be new. That's gonna be cool. So 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks.
Okay.
What did I say? April 15th?
13th, 14th, something 14th, I think you said, right?
Okay, then yeah, it's 3 weeks.
It's 3 weeks.
All right, cool.
Yes, good. So then we talk. Next time we record in a week's time, we will record and talk about our Grail watches, our current Grail watches.
Yes. So we'll see. What are...
Do you even remember what's your previous Grail watch? Because I can't remember what it was. But
It's a ever-changing...
okay.
You know, it's one of those,
too.
what do you call it? Where it's like the goalpost is constantly moving.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
but
true.
we'll talk about what we want, what we'd like,
Okay.
if money was no object. And we'll talk realistically if money was an object, which it is.
Yes,
So-
it always is. Budget.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And we will hear you, listen to you, speak to you
Next week. All the best. Thank you. Bye-bye.